So first of all, thank you so much for being here this morning. I'm not going to be talking about code or programming or anything of the sort. What I'm going to be talking about is how to sell your story in order to engage and attract customers. And one of the reasons that I'm really excited to be here, and being in quite a few other sessions, is talking about user experience and how important it is that you design or you're developing with the end in mind. And I own a copywriting firm, so we're the people that write that content that everyone talks about. And so it's always nice to just be around a group of people that get that. And so I just want to start today with thanks for being here, and I hope this is helpful for you all. Okay, so one of the things that is a problem is there's way too much going on in the web. As you know, there's a lot of chatter and people are overwhelmed. Markets will go, marketing messages fall on deaf ears because we've heard it all, we've seen it all, we've been there, we've done that. So oftentimes adding new animation, new video, flashy things to the screen or to an email doesn't always work. And I just, statistics, what do they say? Don't believe 9 out of 10 of them. But these are some recent stats that I pulled from various sources such as Forrester Research and the Content Marketing Institute. So, 61% of consumers say they feel better about a company that delivers custom content. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about that with the story. There are over 5,000 marketing messages seen every day. 23% of consumers trusting ads on TV doesn't shock me. And then, we've got 78% believe organizations providing custom content are interested in building relationships with them. And the way that we're seeing things going is the more the content is, the customer is actually engaged and feels heard and, liked, and that there is this relationship going on with a brand. It can be a big brand or it can be a small business, it doesn't matter, that people are actually responding. So, and by responding, buying, engaging, opening emails, clicking through, whatever it is that you want them to do. So what I'm going to talk about today are just 3 things. Number 1, the why factor, and why that's so important, not only for user engagement, but also for ROI. Second thing, how to create compelling story-driven copy, content. And then how to maximize marketing campaigns around story for maximum ROI. So the why factor, really what it is there are 4, we've identified, there are a lot of them, but 4 core emotional drivers that motivate people to take action and become loyal customers. You want brand warriors, right? So fear, love, increase, and obligation. These are overarching, right? There are a lot of things underneath all of them. But the one thing to remember when crafting content, when laying out a web page, when sending out a responsive email design, a responsive email, what's the purpose? And how are you going to best engage with the end user? So people are buying for emotional reasons. They are not buying for your reasons. They are not buying for my reasons. They are not buying for the programmer's reasons or the government's reasons or whomever. They are buying for their own reason. And often it can be conscious or it can be subconscious, but they'll buy for emotional reasons and then they're going to use logic to rationalize it, right? Which is why the experience itself and being able, making them feel loved and heard is so important, because once you start going, should I have really bought that bag? Should I have really done this? Did I really need that washer dryer right now? Did I need that car? You start to backtrack, right? And nobody likes returns. So anyway, it's just something to keep in mind. All right, I'm going to tell you a story. I know there's a lot of gentlemen in this room, but just bear with me. All right, this bag right here. I bought this bag off of QVC last weekend. If you don't watch QVC, I highly suggest that you do. I also bought this Mac off of QVC. And the story behind the bag, the reason I'm bringing this, and I'm so glad it came in time, was because here I am sitting on my couch last Saturday afternoon. I'm watching some college ball, just laying there, and I'm like, I got to see what's on QVC. So they were doing this They were doing the Dooney and Burke show, and then after that was the Gold Gala, and I want to let you know I did hide my credit card for that one. So I'm sitting there, and I see this bag, and I was like, oh, that looks like a mix between the Ralph Lauren bag I saw last weekend and the Michael Kors, and it's like, the heavens opened up, and here I was like, I gotta have the bag. So I have an account with QVC, except for they've changed how they you log in. And I had ignored all the emails. So there's a counter on QVC at the very bottom, and they say, the marine bag, which is the color I bought, with the gorgeous red interior, there's only like 100 left, and it's counting down. And not only is it counting down in numbers, but it's also counting down in terms of how long this awesome offer. They had an easy pay. I mean, so $77 a month with, there's no interest or anything. It's just an easy play plan. This was a six pay. And so, I'm going, oh my gosh. So it's funny. What happens is there's water, and I've got, I'd ordered like wings and stuff. And in the mix of trying to I'm on my iPad, I can't get it to work. I'm on my phone. I'm trying to call QVC. I'm spilling water. The dog's eating chicken wings that are like hot version. She shouldn't be. I'm trying to grab those up. And I caught myself only after the fact, but I started laughing. I got the bag, obviously, right? And I was super excited. And then I wanted to share with QVC I've always wanted to be the person that calls and says, I love this so much. I'm so excited I bought this, right? Those freaks at the end of the line that are typically from Mississippi somewhere, and they just talk about the bird feeder they bought for 20 minutes. So I wanted to be that person because I was so excited that I got this bag. I love the brand, I love their customer service, and I love the stories that they tell. They got me to buy this bag. This is how. They told the story about how one of the women from QVC, she's a professional, she's, in her 30s, she is a strong woman, and I'm going, you get it? Right? And she's telling me all how amazing I am, or how she was, and how she walked into a meeting, and this bag just really did it for her. And, she just knows that that's how it closed the deal. And I'm sitting there going, I got to have that bag, right? So through story, she sold me. And then I've got, my whole entire house is destroyed. My dog is, thank God, not choking. She's a pit bull, so she just eats through the bones. But, I'm trying to pull that out. Here I am on the phone. I can't get in. I'm almost crying. My credit card, and it's just like, oh my gosh. Got the bag. The point of the story is this, is that how many of you in here, whether you work for a company or you own your own, would love to create something that made the end user act that way? Like completely out of control, would have probably, run over a squirrel to get to it at the store, right? So I think that's something that, I just bringing up the bag. They sold me through story. Their customer service on the phone, she calmed me down and she walked me through it. I was able to get into the new system, and then we were fine. So that's the power, that's the power of being able to engage that way, and QVC has provided me with that experience over and over again, which is why I'm a walking infomercial for QVC, and I'm like, buy everything on QVC. I mean, seriously, you should. You should go check out what they sell. It's amazing. Sell everything. So I'm going to talk first about fear, because there were a lot of whys behind why I bought what I bought. And I would say that I would have not acted on that had two things not happened. I'm going to get to increase in a minute, but it was the power of increase. It was the opportunity that this bag was going to provide me to look amazing walking into some meeting and close some $80,000 deal, right? Okay, and then fear that I wasn't going to get it because this is exclusive to QVC, the Dooney and Burke, this particular bag, and there isn't going to be one sitting on a shelf at Nordstrom, right? So I wanted it. I was terrified I wasn't going to get it. So everybody has a boogeyman. And when we were children, the boogeyman was under the bed, right? Now it's a stack of unpaid bills. It's meeting the mortgage. It's, what other people will think. Failure, getting sick, remaining sick. And whether the fear is real or it's a fear of a perceived future event, it doesn't matter. Fear becomes very real for people. Before I move on to obligation, I want to talk a little bit about telling stories through fear and actually using fear in content. My company, we try to be as positive as possible. We sell through opportunity. And we try to stay away from that icky, you know what I'm talking about, raise your hand if that creepy, icky sales from fear. It's just like, it's awful. So 2 things. Has anyone seen the LifeLock, not LifeLock, the Life Alert commercial, the new one that's so traumatizing? Does anyone know what I'm talking about in here? You do. Do you know? It's awful. So I did not bring it up here today because I didn't want to send everyone home in tears. But if you haven't seen it, there was the original one where she's like, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. This one, it takes it to a whole new level where it's literally this woman screaming and the house is dark and it's like a creepy basement and I don't really know what's going on. But it's really traumatic and it's awful. And that's not, if a consumer can't get through the content without going, oh God, turn that off, that's not a way to sell through fear. One way you can tap into it is if, for example, is your marriage crumbling? Like, here's the solution, that sort of thing. I mean, being able to convey something in a way where they understand that you see that they're, like, right? It's like the consumer's like, they get that I'm afraid, but they have a solution. So the focus is still on the solution instead of the problem. So obligation overload, we're all in it, up to our eyeballs. People, obligation to family, obligation to friends, obligation to country, obligation to God, obligation to you name it, right? This is something it's a real thing that people will buy for. But that's one of their why reasons. So know what that obligation is, and I'll get into a minute mining down. Increase. So people always, it's the law of increase. It's all about more, and it doesn't mean more money, and it doesn't mean we're greedy. We all want more. We're put on this planet to want more, to be more, to do more, to have more, right? You always want to be better than where you are now. And so it's the opportunity that people are seeking. And if you can always, no matter what it is, what you're creating, what you're laying out, what you're communicating, really be in that space of how is what I'm doing here, what I'm selling, what I'm offering, what this free video series is. It doesn't matter if it's paid or not, right? What's the opportunity that the customer is seeking, and how do you tap into that? They always want to be better than they are now. And here's just an example of a client of ours. It's all about the opportunity. This woman happens to be, she works with business analysts and works with the IIBA and getting them certified. And also, for those who are already certified in business analysis, she works with them on interviewing and really honing in their skills. Corporate has cut back on how much training they're providing. So what they're doing is they're hiring BAs and they're putting water wings on them and they're shoving them in the deep end and they're like, swim. And if you don't, you're fired, right? And those people have an obligation to family and to, meet their bills and do whatever, and there's fear that they're going to lose their job. So instead of tapping into that, what we talk about here is opportunity. This is just a one-sentence thing, but it's like upgrade to the career you want. Like, what's possible for you and your life and your career if you know this? What does it feel like to walk into work and be confident in what you do? And so that's an example of opportunity. And then love, just go to Facebook, look at Twitter, how many people are dying for your like and your retweet, and for you to like them, and watch my YouTube channel and all this stuff. So, people do want to belong. Doesn't matter how old we are. It's a big driver. Loneliness sucks. It does. There's no other way to say that. And people really, love is an interesting why factor, because most people will purchase or will take action not because they think they're like, it's not like, what they're looking for is this. It's, if I get this, if I buy this for this person, if I do this, then they'll love me. Then this will happen. So it's an interesting why factor, because it's coming from a place of not having and wanting more. And so, the third point there, everyone wants to avoid being alone. And if you say, I like to be by myself, right? I love it. But there comes a time where I need human interaction. And so just, pay close attention, like when you're looking at your customer's why. So here's the formula for success. It's very easy. This is about as mathematical as I get. Know their why, give them your why, and you'll have engaged, connected, and raving brand loyal fans. They will love your brand. They will let their dog, this sounds awful, they will almost let their dog choke on chicken bones to buy the purse. So this is, this isn't it yet. So sharing your why. I'm going to say this like 19 times, so just bear with me. I want if you walk away with one thing, this would be great if you walked away with this. Remember, people buy the story behind the product or the service. They're buying it. Like, think about Steve Jobs. We bought his story, right? When he got up there and he told us that, I watch it like weekly, when he unveiled the iPod, the whole thing was story after story after story after story, and after 30 minutes, he just whips it out, and he just holds it up. And he's just like, and the whole room goes bonkers, right? He didn't have to be like, this is the iPod, and it does this, and it does that, and it does this, and it does that, and it does this, and it does that, buy it. He really engaged us, and you can find it online, and I highly suggest you watch it. It's phenomenal how he tapped into all of the whys. The what's going on, why is this different, without even telling you what it was. So you're just like, what is this? And even now, when you watch it, you're so engaged knowing that the iPod is so last century, right? But you still watch it. So, all right, what need do you see or did you see in the market when you created your business, or when you like some of you working for companies, you're working on product launches, you're bringing something new to the market. What solution? Like, what was the need? Tell the story behind that, and what solution does it provide? What did it take for you to build that app, or to create that software, or design the layout? And you know what? It may be as unsexy as my story about how I, almost killed my dog and fell off the thing and spilt stuff, and to get this bag. It may be, I was living in my mom's basement. I mean, look at what Jeff Bezos' story. I mean, look at some of these people. They're not afraid to tell it. Yeah, my mom had to finance and feed me ramen noodles, and, it happens. And it also makes you human. It makes everything real, because we all know what it's like to have to mooch off mom. Raise your hand if you know what that's like, right? So here's an example from a client that we have in New Zealand that's here in the U.S. now, but it's it's mobile marketing. Like, hello, everyone knows what that is, right? Yeah. So what we were faced with was, how do you actually take something that's already been done, that everybody thinks they know about, or everyone rolls their eyes about, or whatever, I already know that. Because this had new features. This allows for, you pull out your phone and you can watch the video on it. There's no pinching involved. It's a text that comes straight to you. It's actually hooked up with CRMs and email marketing systems such as Infusionsoft, if anyone uses that, or Entreport. And I think now MailChimp. So, it's being able to integrate all of that. And we were able to share. We actually showed through video sales letters and brought their story to life. Instead of being like, okay, this is why this is so different. It was like, look, this is what was going on with us. This is what we kept having problems with. Like, it's so disconnected. What if there was a mobile marketing solution that was part of the whole entire pie, right? Like, so the marketing wheel actually ran. So we were able to bring that to the surface and focus on that instead of text messages. Yay, for business, right? So a lot of these companies, if you go there, it's just like, how you can triple your business in 4 days with using text marketing, blah, blah, blah. That's not what this is. We completely did it, and the company is, it's taken off, and they got third round funding, and they're now in 4 countries. And this just happened, by the way, in May, or April. So it's a different way of approaching it. This is another client we have that, it's a tutoring, online and offline tutoring company. There are dozens of them. And what my client really wanted to do was to keep it clean, keep it engaged, keep it about the people, keep it about the student, keep it about the tutor, keep it about the connection between the two. And so, this is not it's just a landing page right now, so the site is we're almost at launch. It's one of those, we're going to launch today? No. So anyway, it's still, they're working out, not we, the programmers are working out the the details. So this is a client that's taken it a whole new way, and what we've been doing for her in the background is working on collecting, like we're tutor student, there are different landing pages for each, and really actually starting to nurture these people. So before launch, we know part of the reason that we're behind is because of the changes being made, not only to the content, but to the user experience, right? For both the tutor and for the student. And the customer journey of both, and reworking that based on the feedback, based on the why information we're getting from our prospects or our new customers that we're not even ready to launch yet. And the database is pretty huge and it's growing daily. So how we originally got them was, we've got this new thing going on, and she did it. Angela did it we did it through video, and we did it through networking, and really, here's our why. This is why we exist. And people started flocking, and then we started listening, and we started telling them stories, and then now we're letting tutors share their stories with other tutors, and now, and trying to keep it away from a complaining fest, but just really getting them engaged. And so we're getting ready to launch with 10,000 plus on a list. So we need, that's cash right there. All right, so the second point, creating a compelling story-driven copy that pre-qualifies prospects. This is huge. We get a lot of people that come to us that are like, we've got a problem. We are getting, 10, 15 leads a day, 5 leads a day, whatever it is. And at the end of the month, 0.01% are qualified. Well, what a waste, right? Waste of time, waste of everything, waste of the sales team. So you want to create content that pre-qualifies prospects while building a community of lifetime customers who are brand warriors. The brand warriors are the people that, just think about Mac. I mean, people like me sit up here and like, look, I've been in these events, or been in some of these sessions, and I just see the little glow of the apple. We're brand warriors, and we're out there. That's what you're looking for. You want the people who will go and share what you have to offer with others. So storytelling is the most powerful way to capture attention and engage, by far. Think about it. Stories are, how many times have you watched a movie, read a book, listened to the song, and you're like, what was the name of that movie where the ending, where the guy got blown up, but then the dog came to save him and the hurricane was there? And everyone's like, oh, what was it, right? Or what's the, you name it. What's the name of the book, where? People remember the story, they don't remember the detail, they don't remember the name. Often. And that's really, if they don't remember your company name or they don't remember the product, they'll remember the story, and that's what's actually, once you've got them emotionally engaged, fantastic. So, story creates the connection, and that's the point. So, there are 3 key elements to make your content relatable, and I was trained as a writer in fiction. So, these come from really this is how you build a story, like a short story, a novel that people read, want to remember. So the hook. You have to tap into their desires, their needs, their wants. So you present a complication, right? Think about the last movie you saw that was actually good. That was good, that's key. There was a complication, right? Now you're hooked. You're like, ooh boy, this is good. And then you want to tie it into state of mind, so you have to do things like set the stage so that they're emotionally like, oh yeah, I pour my coffee that way. Oh yeah, my wife did that to me, where you're making the connection, and whether it's situation, state of mind, desires. And then you have to go beyond the complication. If you stay in the complication, what you do is you get content, you get videos, you get PPC, you get banner ads, whatever you're doing that are all about the problem. And remember, people are buying for opportunity, they're buying solution, they're not, like, don't stay in that space too long. You want to get them like, hey, is this you? Yeah, that's me. But if you stay there, they're gone. So go beyond the complication, lead them to see that you have something that will fulfill a need they have or prevent a perceived future problem. Because remember, not all of our problems are real. Or we're just perceiving like, oh, I can't run out of gas. I gotta have my tires gotta be good, that sort of thing. That just worrying. My grandfather if it got below half a tank, he would flip out, right? Just flip out. And now it's passed on to me. And so, it's that sort of stuff. You wanna, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, I worry about the gas in my car. Like, how crazy is that, right? But it's real for me. So your prospects, your customers have the same thing. Maybe not as crazy, but of course, tap into their why factor, not yours, theirs. This is important. And of course, the why factor will change based on product, based on how you're positioning the product or the service. And then you want to paint the picture of what life will be like after. This is huge. This is the opportunity. What's the solution you're bringing to the table? So hook 'em, hook 'em, hook 'em. And here's some. One great way to hook people is mystery. We call it mystery copy. It's kind of cheesy, but it works. So actual product and service. It's a green coffee weight loss supplement. Whoop-de-doo. Does that sound sexy to anybody? No. But drink coffee and burn fat, literally. Wouldn't you be like, ooh, click? What? Right? A dating coaching program. You're about to discover 5 ways to look at a girl and make an amazing first impression. It's not the sexiest thing, but some of my internet marketing friends have not online dating, but they work with men to get the hottest girl in the room. That's what they do. And they've made millions, and they are making millions now a month doing this. So they use that as a PPC ad. And it worked. High-end skincare product, there are a million of them, right? Ladies, everywhere you turn, it's like this new thing will relieve that sort of wrinkle, which will do whatever. Something like this, reveal the secrets to looking 10 years younger in just 1 hour a day. Who doesn't want that? Nobody wants to work for anything. If I can just sit back and drink my coffee and burn fat and put that stuff on my face and look good in a day, great, perfect. So, this is an example of how to hook, and it doesn't always have to be, way out there, but your audience you want them to picture themselves enjoying it, seeing themselves doing it. And you can never, ever, 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 rule of thumb, ever have content, ever have a call to action button, ever have a headline that makes people think, I have to work for that. They will not do it. Everybody wants things now, and they don't want to have to do anything to do it. They just want it. So this is a friend of mine and a client, Mind Valley. This is Ajit. And we recently launched this. This actually is in the process of launching right now. And I share it with you because it was a 2-part video series launch. We launched internally from a list of about 15,000 brand, just hot, right? It's a hot list. We're testing they are testing the launch. So they brought us in to do some of the content for this. And it's like, discover how to strategically use 5 key numbers that exponentially grow your business without any additional anxiety or stress. Okay. What it could have said was, hey, do you want to grow your business? Watch this. Instead, it's about strategically. What 5 numbers? What do you mean 5 numbers? Just 5 numbers? That's it? How to do it without additional anxiety or stress. Because if you do, this is obviously for business owners, if you do own a business, or even if wherever that if you're going to change something, guess what? It's going to cause more work. And nobody wants to do more work. So this is just an example of, how he was able to do. And the thing is, it's a warm list. So what you don't see here that will be on when we start driving pay-per-click and Facebook traffic to this is it will explain what he's been able to do. That he took this company and took it from a $800,000 company to a $10 million company a year in less than 4 years. But the list coming knows already about who Ajit is and what a miracle worker he is. They call him a doubler. So, second element is to keep them reading. Show them how you will solve their needs, their problems, how you're going to meet it. You want to always tap in the desire for more. Again, opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. The resolution you provide is what will get them to act. Don't forget the why factor, right? And stories without resolutions are not remembered. How many of you have seen that movie and the end of it, you're like, really? Did that just happen? You know, it's like I'm a huge True Blood fan. I just love True Blood. And I watched did anyone in here see the season finale? No True Blood? No. Sad. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, the ending was, you know, here you got this, it was fantastic. The whole season, I loved the whole series. And all of a sudden at the end, like, vampires are getting married and they're falling in love. And you're like, this isn't really, like, mesh. But they felt they needed to tie this little bow on it. And it really ticked off a lot of people. Because we're like, how does that doesn't work. You know, now it's like a giant love fest and everybody, vampires and humans, are all sitting across this table like Thanksgiving, and it didn't make any sense. So that's not remembered. And I don't think it will be good for the show, just in terms of, you know, people will not remember it. I can't believe I even remember I don't remember what happened. That's all I remember is how cheesy and stupid it was compared to the rest of the show. So here's an example. We have a new client we've just brought on, and I'm making this as condensed as possible, but the problem with this particular client is that their CRM and point of sale system and all these different reporting things, nothing's integrated. So it's like, okay, right? And what's happening, this is for their clients, I'm sorry. So not my client, their client. The problem is they're losing money due to invoicing delays. And they're losing money due to invoicing. This happens to be in a petroleum marketing setting. So when I say they're losing money, they are losing tens of thousands of dollars a day in late invoices, right? So start hemorrhaging 87,000, 140,000, what have you, and you know it's a problem, and it's the real problem. When you look at problems, it's like, is that really the problem, or is this the problem? So they're hemorrhaging cash when they don't need to. If they just had integration, guess what? One of their customers just came back with reporting, and since January, they've managed to bring in $700,000 just by having the invoices go out one day earlier. That's awesome, right? So that's the solution. They've offered a cloud-based solution that offers real-time analytics and reporting to find money leaks immediately when they happen. That's an oversimplification, but that's what you want to tap into. That's how you're going to get clients. That's how, right. Problem. Your virtual team needs to stay connected 24/7. Who's seen the Google commercial that's like, hey, we offer all these solutions, check it out. And they're telling it through a story, Hangouts and whatever. This is what that commercial aims to do. Bring everybody together in a community, and you can talk and do stuff. And if you're like me, you can't figure out Hangouts, so it doesn't really look appealing. But anyway, all right. So character is the third element. It's the emotional bond it's the bond that ties and makes loyal followers, loyal fans, loyal customers. Character is the most important element. Your brand is the central character to your company's story. But it doesn't mean that the story is always focused on your company or this particular product or this particular service. You really want it to shine through, but you don't want it to be all about you. It needs to involve the client as well. So this is just a cheesy little slide that, my company, there are more of us on here, but we just have these. We have a love for dogs, and wait for it. That's mine. So we have animals on our site. And people, every time someone calls, anytime someone says something, there's two things they ask. How'd you get your name? Sumer. And how's Mama Mia? Now, this is Mama Mia, the office manager, and she does absolutely nothing. She contributes not at all to anything. And she likes pictures, clearly. And she's front and center on the site. And I know that there's a 90% chance that you will purchase from me in the next 2 months when you say that. It's not right for everybody, but, all of our animals and this sort of stuff. So we've made the dog sort of the mascot, so to speak, and of Sumer, and people love her. She gets Christmas gifts, right? The office itself got a few things. The dog outweighed all of us, bully sticks and chew toys and whatever. And I was like, wow, okay. So people will call and ask how she is, and that's the thing. They're connecting on a level that the only way they know how to connect, right, is through the animal. So your prospects and clients are as much of your story as your brand. Don't ever forget that. Without them, you would not exist, period. You just wouldn't. Let them tell their story, let them get engaged. All right, so last point I have is strategizing marketing campaigns around the story. And again, remember, people don't buy the product. They buy the story behind it. So once you have a story, you can craft a campaign around it. An example we all know is the PC versus Mac commercial, or the whole campaign that they ran, I'm PC, I'm Mac, I'm PC, I'm Mac. That's an example of coming up with, okay, how can we tell this differently? How can we let people see themselves in it, right? You know, at one point I was PC, now I'm Mac. I switched sides because of QVC. Here's something that we were working on internally, and I just wanted to show this because I think it's a great example of, we had clients who had purchased, we do this website copy conversion analysis. So we're looking at the content on the site and looking at ways we can optimize for better conversion, right? So when they come to us and they purchase from us, we send them a questionnaire, and we're asking, what's going on here? Like, what's the problem? So what we were able to do is we were able to break it down into 5 things. They wanted, what was really, not okay with the whole thing is that they wanted quality leads. Their site needed better because they needed better conversions. They wanted something that was easy to navigate, to be able, users to digest information. They wanted to generate more traffic, and they wanted to clearly convey what they do. So what we did was we were able to mine this down to these 5 core things. We found out the solution that this particular analysis did, and we hit the email marketing. We created an entire email marketing campaign where each email tapped into what they needed, what they wanted, the desire, right? With really awesome hooks. And then we provided the solution. And we told every one of those emails was a self-containing story inside of it. So this is, just how do you break it down? How do you find it? How do you find out the information? This is, it's kind of, tacky looking, but this is a client of ours that is doing, it's all being revamped, so just hang with the branding here. But they are, they built this app for wine lovers that can connect, like, what's going on in this winery with this, and it was highly technical, and they knew that their market was 40, 50, 60 somethings, and mainly 50, 60, 70 somethings, and they were like, this is going to be really hard for them to get. So we made a game out of getting them to get how to use the app. And that's another way, like, we had the problem. The problem was they were bored and they could use an app, go have fun. That real problem was that they didn't know how to freaking use it, and you're like, app what, right? So we made a game, and it's rolling out soon. So there's a great TED Talk given by Andrew at Pixar. I don't know him, but I call him by his first name. And he says, don't give them 4, give them 2 plus 2. And that's really what storytelling is about. You want to, 2 plus 2 equals, and then 4. Instead of, here's everything. And that's what I'd love for you to take away. So I know I have a few minutes. Do I have any time left? Yeah, I do. Wow. Okay, so if you ever want to find me on Twitter, I love Twitter. Come see me. If you want, I'm also going to be outside here if you want to just leave a business card in the back of the room or something. If you want to get my slides or chat, I'll be here. And that is all. Anybody have questions?